The Dental Brief is brought to you by Omni Premier Marketing and the amazing guests who bring wisdom and advice that you can put to use to take your business and practices to the next level. Find us on Facebook and join the conversation. Get ready to grow because we are kicking off the next episode in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Brief. Excited to have today's guest on with us today. You might hear a little thunder in the background. He's down in Dallas. They're getting some storms. Fulton Collins, say hello to everyone.
Hi, good to be here, Patrick. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for taking the time. I know you're CEO of a pretty big company that's kind of changing some things in the dental industry, and we're going to jump into that in just a bit. First, tell me a little bit about how you got on track and became the CEO of Wellfit.com.
Sure. I've been with the company 3 years now. The company's been around about 7 years. My background is in industries that are adjacent or part of the products we offer today. So a background in financial service, background in some healthcare businesses. Obviously, Wellfit Technologies is a user of both financial service products and provider to dental offices, and obviously dental is in the healthcare arena. So it was just getting logical fit. Our chairman hired me for this role, and it's been great. Great 3 years.
That's awesome. So tell us about Wellfit. Tell us about Wellfit and why there's a need in the marketplace for it.
Sure. The original need was, I think our chairman and his company incubated Wellfit for several years before we spun it out. That's, again, why I was brought on to help spin it out as an independent entity. I think that there was a general lack of confidence in traditional payments in the dental space and what can be done to improve it. That's not to say that it wasn't working, it was just how could it work better. So today we offer 3 products that I think help patients get treatment. One is a membership or discount. The second one is what we call our financing marketplace, which is really an opportunity for patients to apply for financing so they can get treatments done. And then the most simple of the products is our payments, our credit card payments, which we enable patients to make payments to offices, whether they're on premises or over the air.
So talking about dental plans and financing this, I've never heard of any other company that combines the two. Are you the only one in the space that you're aware of that's doing that?
We're really the only one we know that does the 3 things we do. We certainly have competitors who, we respect greatly and are doing a great job out there. I mean, everyone from very large companies in the payment space to large companies in the dental plan space. I think the opportunity we really saw is many of those functions or many of those products are being used by the same people in the dental offices. And so how do we make it as simple as possible by combining that under one single umbrella or a single platform, if you will? And so, I was actually having this conversation with some private equity folks the other day about, think about a patient coming into an office and but they need to have a crown done. And let's just say it's $2,500 as an example. And if they join a dental plan with that office, they can get it at $2,000. And then they have the opportunity to then apply for financing for that $2,000 that they need to pay. And they make their first payment of $200 using their credit card. So all 3 products kind of flow together, if you want to think of it in that regard.
Sure.
Very often they're working with, whether it be a benefits coordinator or an office manager or the front desk staff. And it just makes it a lot easier when it's one company that they're interacting with.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So on the dental plans of this, is that something that people are kind of financing that too? So is there a way that the dentist can get up front for the dental plan, or what does that look like?
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question. We today are not financing the fee for the annual membership fee for the plans, but it is something we've talked about. We've actually talked to a couple of our partners about that. And so I'm not aware of anyone doing that today, but I'm glad to say it's not being done. And it's certainly something we're considering going forward.
Yeah. So I was recently at a dental meeting, and one of the names that everybody knows in the patient financing space was there. And they had, I saw their table, they had a brochure that literally listed like and it basically said like our myths, like the myths in the industry, and it had this list of, all these myths. People aren't going to qualify. It's too cumbersome. It's too time consuming. There's all these different issues. How are you guys making this seamless for the patient? So how are you making this experience, and how are you coaching dentists and their team members to make this experience really seamless and kind of almost natural, if you will, right? So it's not awkward for the patient. What does that look like?
Right. Yeah, well, we're doing a couple of things. So let me step back just a little bit. I think that there are opportunity for companies to exist in the financing arena. And I actually have a background there. I was with a company that ultimately became part of Capital One. And what I learned then was that there's no one product that fits everyone. So how do you become a mass customizer of products so that every individual has a product that essentially meets their needs?
Sure.
What we're doing today is we're trying to get feedback from the patient in the application process that will enable us to pair them with a lender that best meets the needs that they have, whether it's duration of the term of the loan, whether it's the total amount financed, whether it's the interest rate charge, whether it's a zero interest rate product, what's the best for the patient. At the end of the day, we want to help the dentist increase his or her case acceptance. And the best way to do that is to provide patients with what they want so that they say yes. I think what we're seeing today is, and there are some great companies that provide financing. What we do that's a little bit different is we provide multiple sources, not just an individual. So as you mentioned, you were at a conference and you saw one of the big players in the financing space, and that's a single company. We're offering patients the choice of having more companies through a single application. And what that does for the dentist, or more specifically for the benefits coordinator or the office manager who's helping the patient out, is to speed the process along. What I will say, the other thing, just to answer your question more fully, is you asked, how are we making this a safe and comfortable environment for the patient? So our product, our company's Wellfit Technologies, and really we are a software provider that allows the patient to fill out the application really pretty simply on their own. In some cases, we are fully integrated with the practice management system that the dental office might be operating. And then so a lot of the patient information can feed into the application for the patient to apply for the financing. But in either case, it's a pretty simple, couple of minutes of filling out electronically. They can do it on a mobile device. They can do it on a tablet. They can do it if the office has a computer that they want. But they as the patient can fill out the information so they don't have that awkwardness of interacting with the benefits coordinator and the benefit coordinator saying, oh, we weren't approved by this one, now let's apply to another one. In our case, they're applying to a bunch and they're filling out the information on their own. So it's a much more, comfortable process for the patient, and in many cases, more comfortable for the office.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest challenges or mental roadblocks that practices have when asking patients to apply for financing is telling them that they've been declined or having any part of that. Right?
It's not a good experience. That's right.
Yeah. So it seems like if you have multiple lenders per se that you're working with, it actually increases the odds of approval significantly. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's absolutely fair to say. I would also want to say that, our focus is on a quality experience for the patient. We want everyone to feel like they're being treated well. Not all finance companies treat patients well. They treat them more as kind of a number or a customer. We look at them as patients and how to even enhance that humanistic approach to their experience. We want, and we're selective in who we partner with in that regard too, because it's very important to us that their post-financing experience is good. Obviously they're going to be making payments to that company, and you don't want it to be an adversarial type relationship. You want it to be a positive experience. And ultimately that will drive more business back to the office. So we're just can treat more patients.
Yeah. And I don't want to overlook, I know we're getting short on time. I don't want to overlook the monthly plan that you've helped them moving practice, because from my point of view and from what I see, there's some practices that have a tremendous amount of success with it, and then others that you're like, hey, well, what about your in-house plan? And they're like, oh, we have 5 people. And it's obviously a system a difference, right? It's a process or a people difference in the practice. I'm assuming that you guys are making it as easy as possible for dentists to launch those plans, and even better, explain the benefits to their patients.
Well, I think the latter, yes, on both. The latter is really the key part. I have adult children, and I said to them, I said, you should be getting a dental plan instead of, traditional dental insurance. It's really it's a fantastic product for the general consumer, general patients. And it really covers most, if not all, of what they need and provides them a better financial benefit long term. So you're absolutely correct. Helping the offices understand what the benefits are of a dental plan and helping them explain that to their patients is one of the key areas that we need to focus on so that they can do a better job and then ultimately we can help more patients.
Yep. I recommend that anyone who wants to build an in-house plan in their practice to at least in November, but if not, a couple of times per year, put together a quick webinar, invite your patients, especially your self-employed patients, or your patients who you don't like their insurance, to jump on and do a webinar and learn about the in-house plan. Plans change. A lot of employers change their plans yearly. They might be switching from your insurance. They may be buying it themselves. It's a good opportunity to educate patients, and that's really the key to.
That's right. And I think a lot of larger companies who self-insure should actually even consider this, offering a plan direct to all their employees. As we actually manage for a couple of large businesses, we actually are a third-party administrator of plans as well, so we can handle that from a technology and administrative standpoint.
100%. If you want to push in-house plans in your practice, and you should, and you have somebody who owns a business and you find out that they have more than a couple of employees, you should be trying to get them on board with the plan. Even if you're waiting a couple of times per year or something free to get their team involved, you should do that. So, well, if somebody wants to check out Wellfit, see if it's a good fit for them, obviously go to the website wellfit.com, but kind of what's that process look like? How do they get more information?
No, you can definitely go to wellfit.com. There is a link, a contact us link there. It was just announced yesterday as well. We partnered with Patterson companies, and so we only have a product, CarePay Plus, which is powered by Wellfit, which offers all of our products as well. So if it's an office utilizing EagleSoft or Fuse softwares, they definitely should consider going through Patterson, but they can come direct to us and we can connect them to that as well. It's a great opportunity for us, and we feel that offices can improve their efficiencies by utilizing Wellfit. So it's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. As CEO of Wellfit, I know you're an incredibly busy person, Fulton. Thanks so much for coming on the program and sharing with us today.
Anytime, Patrick. Thank you.